here on ABC, the first of a terrific doubleheader. Meanwhile, last night on ESPN, we had the Lakers and the Grizzlies and all kinds of drama in that game. And Adrian Wojnarowski is here with late-breaking news from Memphis.
Greeny, that's right. This just in, Dillon Brooks will not be suspended for Game 4 in L.A. on Monday night. The NBA reviewed that flagrant 2 foul on LeBron James that led to his ejection last night, a shot to his groin. And there's not going to be any additional penalty, I'm told. And, this was a concern, I think, for Memphis because Dillon Brooks had a similar incident earlier this season with Donovan Mitchell against Cleveland. He was suspended. Now, that one also included a little pushing and shoving and a scrum in the aftermath of it. And you heard Joe Dumars earlier this week with a Draymond Green suspension talking about the fact that he was a repeat offender, and that played into the 1-game suspension. But the NBA believes it didn't rise to the level of a suspension. So now, with the Grizzlies down 2-1 and their most important game of the season, Monday night in L.A., Dillon Brooks will be in the lineup.
Yeah, the series now will go every other day with a lot of travel in between, which you'd think would favor the Grizzlies. So outstanding late news again from Woj that the Grizzlies will not be without Dillon Brooks in that game, and including the regular season and playoffs. As mentioned, Brooks has been ejected 5 times total, twice in the playoffs. It's the most ejections of any player during that span. He's also the only player in Grizzlies history to be ejected multiple times in the playoffs. So let's get into this series quickly here, and let's just start, Jalen, with your reaction to that news. People will say, well, Draymond got suspended. James Harden got thrown out of a game under these circumstances, and B didn't under those. And now the decision on Dillon Brooks. How do you feel about it?
I'm not surprised he isn't suspended. I'm happy that they didn't take it a step further because he did get ejected, and that was punishment enough for me during the game. The thing that he has to do is continue to own who he is, but don't go too far with it. And what happens is when your team plays well and you win and you do the interviews after the game and you call LeBron old, you got to be the same guy and stand on 10 toes and own it when your team loses and when you get ejected. And the other thing for Dillon Brooks is a basketball point. All of the defensive irritants that I talked about that teams need on their team, the one thing he can't do is shoot them out of the game.
Right.
In the first quarter, he was missing shots. He was hunting shots. And his bad offense was the impetus to them getting off to a slow start.
In the meantime, quickly, Michael Wilbon and then to Stephen A. Do you feel like the Lakers took control of the series last night, Michael? They're up 2-1. They have Game 4 at home. Are the Lakers now in charge in that series?
No. The Lakers won Game 1. Everybody acted like it was going to be a cakewalk, and they lost Game 2 by double digits. So, no, I expect Memphis. The playoffs, particularly when you look at teams that are not that different, and obviously Memphis is lessened by some of the injuries, but you're going to make these off-day adjustments, and you are going to counter. And I expect this series will likely be even at 2-2 going back to Memphis. I mean, I can still see the Lakers winning the series, but control at 2-1 after they lost Game 2 the way they did, no, I don't see that at all, Greeny.
Couple of things. Number one, let's going back to what you were talking about Dillon Brooks previously, let's give credit where credit is due, please. The NBA clearly loves Get Up, First Take, and NBA Countdown because they were listening to us say, we don't want people suspended. We want them on the court getting waxed and sent home. We don't want officials sending home. We want the competition to send them home. The NBA clearly listens to us. They love the show, and they did what we suggested they should do. Now back to your question. No, the Lakers don't have control of the series. Here's the one big reason why. Do you know that Anthony Davis, 31 points, 17 rebounds, Game 3. Do you know that the Lakers are plus 35 with Anthony Davis on the court? But they're a minus 16 with LeBron on the court. The point that I'm trying to make to you is that it points out how important Anthony Davis is. So my direct answer to your question, Greedy, would be this. When Anthony Davis bowls out, as he did in Games 1 and 3, the Lakers are in control. When he shows up like he's comatose or didn't get enough sleep, he's sleep deprived or something like that, they're not in control. So it all comes down which Anthony Davis is going to show up.
And so we will see again. He's been very effective on the defensive end as well. That series picks up again tomorrow night. In the meantime, Jalen, let's work our way over there so that we can talk about some of your predictions as we continue here. For the Grizzlies to have any chance in this series, they will need the Ja Morant they got last night in Game 3. He scored or assisted on 75% of his team's points on Saturday, the second highest rate by any player in a playoff game in NBA history. Only LeBron James in a finals game in 2015 had a higher percentage. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.